not lucky for you.
Oh, I can't complain. So far it's been pleasant.
Tomorrow will be very lucky. But tonight, be careful.